how to create multiple functions using MetaTrader 4. The first thing you want to do is click the Meta Editor button right here, and a window will pop up. With this window here, we're going to go create a new expert advisor. Hit next. We're going to call this functions. I'm going to show you how to create multiple different functions, guys, step by step. So let's go through, make this a little bit bigger. So the function has to it can't be on the on tick or the on timer. It has to be outside the code. So we're going to create a basic function as an int. So our int, we're going to call this basic. So our first thing we do is create our int basic right here and get our brackets out. And here, the key thing we need is a return, okay? So when we're making an int, one basic is called, or we can call whatever you want. When it's called, it's going to return an int value, okay? So let's call this here. So if the ask price, for example, is greater than, let's say, the close of the previous candle, just an example, we're going to return a value, okay? We're going to return an int. So we do int, let's say blank. And once blank gets called, blank is if the ask price is greater than, if the ask price is greater than the previous close, blank will equal, let's say 5, for example. And then, and if else, if it's not, blank will equal lowercase. Give me a second. Blank will equal, I'll say 2. And we return blank. Okay? So now we have our first compile thing right here. Give me a second. Oops, made a little error myself. So once this int has been called, it will check if the ask is greater than the previous close. And if it is, blank will read as 5. But if it's not, blank will read as 2. This is how you make a function using ints. Now we're going to try the same thing, but use a function as a string, okay? So we have our string, we're going to call it indicator. You call whatever you like. I'm going to show you how to create the value inside too, okay? As an example. We got our brackets out, okay? We're going to do our return. Make sure you always have that. I always type it in first. And now we're going to do this. We're going to return a string value. Just say, okay, if, let's see. Oh, okay, I got it. We're going to ask this question here. We're going to ask an if statement. So if the open price, okay, if the open price on candle 2 is less than the close price on candle 2 and the open price on candle 1 is less than the open price on candle 2, I'm sorry, candle 1. If these are true, right, we're going to make sure that our string says, and we're going to call this string bull. So bull. This would be bull trade. Well, actually, we can just make it called string. All right. So we have our string right here. We got to make sure if this is correct, if the candle 2 back is let's say a green candle, an up candle, and the next candle is an up candle, we're going to have it come out and read as bull equals, and since we're using a string, these are quotations, both previous candles are bullish. This is an example. And now we go over here and we put our return down here. And now we have this indicator string bull. If the two candles are greater than or less than, or if these are both green candles, it'll read out as both candles are bullish. And if they are not, you can say as an else statement, right? Say this right here. Bull, and say they are not trending, as an example, okay? And then when we hit compile, we'll have this out. And I'll show you guys how it works once I finish up enough examples. Let's actually make another one as a double, okay? So a double is basically reads out more than a whole number, reads out the smaller digits. So we make a double. And this one we're going to make a little bit different, okay? We're going to call it double. We're going to call it trending 2. So trending. And this part, we're going to ask it a question. Int. Actually, we're going to say, what do I call it? Trending. We're going to call it price finder. So we're going to have an int value in here called x, and another have an int value called x. Okay. And here we're going to have our brackets. We're going to have our return. And we're going to make this one a double. I don't know. We can call it 1. You basically can call it's inside the code, so you can really call it anything you want. So in here, guys, what we can do is that this x value can be created as a value that you can change. So you'll say, hey, I can say int of x, and x can be anything, but it has to be 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, or a negative number. And what you can do is this: you can ask it a question like, if x, right, equals, just say, I don't know, 5, right? And then we do int. I'm sorry, go back to here. Okay, and say if int of x, right? If this int equals 5, just in case you put 5, what you can do is say 1 will equal let's say open price 5 candles back, and then we'll put 1 right here. So you enter, you just say you're trading, you're trying to find the open price for the 5th candle back. You can put that in there and find the open price. Now, there's actually a bunch of different ways. You can actually make this into a string and put the values in there, and it'll give you a price reading out. Actually, we can do that as an example too. So we'll do the same thing. We'll create a string indicator, right? I'm sorry, a string function. Okay. We're going to call it master price finder, master or candle finder. All right, we're going to have a couple values. We're going to have int of, just say, so open. Oh, I can't put that there. It's not going to work. Open. The int of close. All right, and the int of the high, and the int of the low. Now, what we can do is this. Since we have so many values in there, and I'll show you how to use all this once we go up to the on tick, okay? We'll go through here, and we're going to return. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more complex, but same principle, okay? So we have our open, close, high, and low. What we can do is this. When we're looking at these candles, we can have our structure doing this. if, actually, we need a value for string. Call this 1. Okay. What we're going to do is this. The int price is going to be 0 through 1 or negative, whatever it's going to be. We're going to find a candle. So once we get our candle price, right, and we're going to just basically say if any of these are greater than 0, if where's x? I'm sorry. If open is greater than 0, or the close of 0, oops, is greater than 0. So basically, we require something for not the current candle, okay? So if the high is greater than 0, or the low is greater than 0, what we're going to do is read this out, right? And this will be 1. And this is how we're going to do it. 1 will equal, and we're going to have to type this in. Make sure you guys type it in like this. I won't have this code on my website. It'll just be on this video. So 1 equals, and we'll do, since it's an int, guys, we have to do this. And we're doing the open price. So open. Oh, my bad. Okay. So we do open price. Right. So open price of candle. So the open price of candle. Let's see. We do this, a space. And we'll copy here. Okay. So hit copy, hit plus, and hit open. And I'm sorry, type open. And then hit do this again as the open price of candle 1. And we're going to have to do an equal sign. Okay. And then we'll do plus. This mic's in the way. Sorry about that. Keep moving. But we'll put the plus right here. And we're going to do open brackets and hit open in here and there. So now that we're getting the open price of this, we can see if that's actually happening. We'll be like this. It's going to read open price of candle 1, for example. And if it's 1, it will equal the open price for that, okay? All right, if you want the code for how that works, let's do this right here. Let's do F1, okay? And with F1, it'll tell you to give you a breakdown. It comes out as a double, okay? But we're actually doing a string for this right here. Our next thing is going to be plus, and we can break it down right here. Make sure you add a little space to it, okay? And we're going to put a space and put a comma and a space. And the next one will be the close. So the close price of candle, put a quotation and hit plus. That just makes it a little equal. Hit close. All right. Do the same thing. Okay. Plus close. Make it all uniform as much as possible. Make it a little easier for your reading. And just type in close. So now we have that part done. Make this over here. Put another quotations. Oops, my bad. And now we can put the next one in there. I think it's one space. Yeah. Let's see. The high price of candle blank plus the high all right equals, and now we type our high. We got our brackets out right here. Make sure they're all uniform. We type in high. Now we got our last one will be our low. Low price of candle. All right. Put a plus. Type in WLO. And now we do here. Same exact thing, okay? Hit plus, and now we do LOW. Now, remember, the spaces don't really matter on here, but it just make it easier for you guys to see and record. Write this down when you guys are done. And our next thing to do is end this off with a semicolon, and our return will be 1. My bad. And if you guys can put else statement, you guys really don't need it. We hit compile. No errors. So once we do this complicated function right here, so we have an easy function right here. That's an int. This is a string, basic one. We have a price finder, and we have a master price finder. Okay. So now let's go back to here and go to the on tick. Okay. And now let's start off with the first one. Okay. And we're going to put it as a comment. And we're going to look at the first one. Okay. Our first one's an int. It's called int basic. So we copy this right here. Okay, and we're going to put this right here. So now when we run this in MetaTrader, so we have no errors. This is called functions. Go back to here, go to strategy tester. All right, make it a little bit bigger. We're going to go on to let's go to the 5-minute and just go a few days back. You see how it's changing from 2 to 5, 2 to 5? Well, if we go back to the code, basic function right here, if the ask is closed greater than that, it's going to read as a 2. If not, it's going to read that. Now let's do our next one, guys. So it's pretty simple. It's going to be an indicator, okay? And we're going to put it in here. Now let's test this part of it, okay? Hit compile, bring this back down, and stop. So remember the code once again. We're making this function called indicators a string. If we have 2 bullish candles, it's going to read out as both previous candles are bullish and they are not trending. Okay. Hit start. See, they are not trending. They are not trending. And if once we get 2 candles in the right direction, both green, let's do this right here. See how they're not trending right here? Actually, it should be reading differently. Let's see if I did something wrong. If the open is less than the close, and if the open is less than the close, error, my bad. Well, I'll make errors. Here we go. Hit compile, and we'll do that again. So we're looking for 2 bullish candles. See, both candles are bullish right here. So if you wanted to have a tracker for that, you can have multiple things with that as a function. Okay, you don't have to put it as an on tick anymore. Now our next one is called Price Finder. Now with Price Finder, this is a little bit interesting because we have an int value inside. So what we do is this. We do we paste right here. We make our parentheses, and we put the number we want in there. And we're going to put 5 in there. Now, if we look at the code, if we put 5 in there, for example, right, we'll get the open price of 5. You guys can change it up. Remember, this is for beginners. To me, very simple. We hit stop. We hit start and try it again. See, we get the open price of 5. And it changes every time it goes to the 5th candle back. Okay? Very simple. Now our next one is a bigger function. That's why we're using master function, okay? Now I'm going to show you guys a little bit different that pops up, okay? So go back to the on tick. Let me delete this. So when we're opening this up right here, right? Do our first parentheses, you'll see that we'll have int, close, high, or low. So just say we want the 5th candle for the open, comma. See how it goes to the close? We want the 25th for the high, and we want the 3rd for the low, high, and we want the 16th for the low. We'll hit. I'm sorry, I forgot one parentheses. And now we have our code. We'll run it as a function, and we'll hit stop. And it's going to be a big readout right here. Okay? See, if we go through and change it up a little bit, make it a little bit easier for us to see. Open price on candle 5 equals 187.573. The close price on candle 25, 187.738. High price on candle 3. See how it changes like that? And the low price on candle 16 is 187. You can do this as a multiple things in here. You can do this a button that can change this information to get you the highs and lows. But this is a very easy way to go from easy to a little bit more complex when it comes to functions for MetaTrader 4. Now, if any questions or comments, guys, let me know. This is a basic video on how to create simple to a tad bit complex functions. Now, if you have any questions or comments, I can create a more in-depth video on functions. Just let me know. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you guys for making it here.